Finding your purpose isn't as simple as you think. As kids, you know, our parents, teachers, so and so would ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? Some of us said, want to be a doctor, police officer, maybe a veterinarian, things of that nature. But then, as soon as you get older, that really changes and your mind gets a little older. And then you think to yourself, I want something more, to my liking. And me, wanting me, the person I am. Oh, I want to be a basketball player, NBA player. And me going through, the phases, me playing basketball majority of my life. And I don't know, up until this point, it's kind of like I'm like at like a certain checkpoint where I'm like, I don't know what should I do next. Because like to be honest with you, like I never had like the best, opportunity for myself to like really flourish and shine on the court and like be the player I wanted to be, because the coaches always try to put me in a certain box, and limitate what I can do. And that didn't really sit right with me in the slightest, because I know I had more to offer, but because, they're higher ups, or, the coaches or whatever, they think they know what's best for you. And it was really like, that was like really like a big hit for like my career. And also too, I wasn't really always in the best situations, to succeed, playing on teams, AAU teams, you know, people, the program organization I was playing with didn't have like their full belief in me. So sometimes I'd be on the back burner and they just put me to the side like I'm just some regular old player that, doesn't really have talents. They seen the talent, obviously, I was there for a reason, playing on different circuit teams, but I never really had the chance to like really perform and get a real opportunity to show what I can do. And like seeing people, my age or maybe younger than me, or like people who are a little bit older than me playing or being in that same position, but because they had a better opportunity than me, they progressed more and they got a better, they benefited from it a lot more than me. And I look back at it and I'm like, you know, it's really like no one like really truly like believed that I was able to do it. Like I wasn't, capable of doing the things that I know I was capable of doing, because I showed it, you know, besides the games, practices, everything of above, but they still didn't really have their full trust in me. And I don't know, they just didn't, I didn't take anything good from that at all. And, at a point after coming back, from the college where I was at, and I really like at that specific moment and that time period, I didn't really like care for basketball as much. It wasn't really as enjoyable for me. Like even like the person I am, I love basketball, I watch it and everything, but I like didn't even really want to tune into any games, because like I didn't have the same love for the game like I used to. Like I didn't look at it the same like I used to, because, I feel like the coaches, getting into your head, or, just just being just, I don't know. Maybe it was not the right fit, but for like the coaches and like, all the staff, like they had a big part in like me. It's not like just giving me a chance to just shine. I'm not saying you have to give me the ultimate green light and all of above, but just give me a shot to prove what I can do. And you give me that shot, I'm not gonna take it for granted, and I'm gonna, play like it's my last. But I would never got the opportunity. And then them putting in my ear, oh, you don't think you're ready yet. Oh, maybe a couple more games. Like, I'm not here to wait or just to be on a back burner, just sitting around. Like, I didn't come here to just sit around. I came here just, I want a feature in it. And, you know, just in general, like, the world, is, I'm not saying for the whole majority, but like for, a good percentage is based on like opportunities and the type of position you're in. Because say, like, for example, like, some people can be, majority of us, rather, if you want to admit it or not, we're basically like to each other, we're opportunists. And like what I mean by that is, say that you're, in a position you are, and you don't, feel like you're satisfied with that position, but then you see someone else and he or she is doing the same thing you're trying to do, and they made it, and they exceeded all their expectations, and they, made a big, impact from it, and they are just overall in a position that you want to be in. The person you are, you want to, go up to that person, pick their brain, ask them questions of how they got there, their process, such and such. And gaining that knowledge for them, it gives you the opportunity to, one day taking what they told you and, apply that to yourself. And maybe one day you can also, go get to that, state of like, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. But nah, I'm basically saying, like, basically you want to, since you got that knowledge, you can get to that point, and now you, since getting information from them and you applying that, now you're going to be in that position, and you've been to that position, and that because they gave you the opportunity, and the opportunity that they gave you puts you in a position that now you're in this position. And so it's just a cycle. It's just a full circle. If someone has something, or you see someone that, like, oh, you know, I do the same thing he does, or, that's something I want to do in the future. You want to, emulate what that person does. But really, you should, do what's best for you, because, everyone's journey is not the same at all. Everyone's journey is different. There's not really the same of each person. No one is, born the same. No one is, has the same gifts. Everyone has a different gift and different calling. Sometimes you don't know what that calling is, but eventually, within time, with you exploring in different avenues, you'll find your true calling. And like, sometimes that goes through some hardships, maybe doing stuff that you don't want to necessarily be doing, but you know that you doing that, it's just going step by step. It's going into, a better situation that you're in right now. But, you just have to trust the process. Whatever the process is, you go through it. It's probably going to be a lot of adversity, but at the end, you look back at it, it was like, yeah, all the stuff that I did, it was worth it, because, it built me to the person I am today and the position I am today because of that. Going through all those hardships, adversity, the long nights of, grinding, the long nights of, dedication, days you don't even want to, going to going to work or going to, make that next step. But you know that it's very beneficial and you'll benefit a lot from that. And, the overall message I'm really trying to say is, I know it's really hard, you're not supposed to have everything figured out at a super young age, you know, or you don't have to rush into doing certain things, or you see a certain such and such, have all of this, however that materialistic, everything that I have like at a young age that you want. Just know that sometimes you're not supposed to have all that, you know, all at once right away, because honestly, if you had all of that, sometimes things would go wrong and, you might, it's not gonna, everything might not be what it is, and you're not gonna, it's not gonna be as attainable, and you're not gonna know what to do with it. So as the time is more you grow older and the more wisdom you take in, then you realize that, once you get to that certain point, you think yourself that it kind of took this amount of time, because, at that age when you was, a teenager, your young adult years, that, at that certain time, you wasn't really ready for that. And you still had to learn and develop into the person you are right now. So really just take your time with things, you know, not say be comfortable, but, once in a while, take time to just, live in the moment, and don't really worry about the future so much, because the future is something that is always going to change, something that's not really, sustainable and locked in, because the future can change. Anything can happen in the future in a few months, years, days, anything can happen. So just worry about what you can control at this moment, and do things that will set you up for the future, in a great way. So do the right thing, make good decisions. Don't make any, decisions that that can harm you or harm, others around you that really care and love for you. Just do the right thing. You doing the right thing, looking on the brighter side of things, would be very beneficial, and it's gonna, it's really good. It's really good. But that's all I have.